Hey there. I didn't even realize that it was a year since I had gone to the last Reformation Kickstart that Torben put on in Texas. I wasn't really looking at the dates, and so um, it's interesting that it's been a year. Um, I've had the most kingdom abundant life in the last year than I ever had before. But I just want to stop here in the river again and share something that God has just shown me so clearly this morning. Um, and that is that every person's salvation is a finished work in the kingdom and vis-a-vis God. In other words, it's not that the coming to salvation and the working out of salvation from a temporal being's standpoint does not have choices and require choicing. But as it relates to God, it's a finished work. So what are the implications for me as a human being? What does that mean for me? Well, it means that I don't really have to get caught up in whether or not someone is saved. I don't have to get caught up in whether or not someone believes something accurately or not. It doesn't mean that in discipleship and from a posture of love and encouragement and a desire to help them in their walk that I won't speak into that at times when invited and when appropriate. But I don't have to get caught up in it. And so that means I don't have to have anxiety about people that I'm trying to disciple. And none of us do. And that I don't have to worry about people who are choosing a certain lifestyle that I believe is not the most abundant for them. I don't have to, you know, and then the list goes on and on and on as to the burdens that are lifted from someone who recognizes that we just don't have to get caught up and worry and stress over the walks of other people. And then maybe that's something that you never thought of or never got stressed out about. I can tell you that it can be very stressful. When God starts to place people on your heart and he starts to show you things and you start to have transformation in your own life, you desperately want that for other people. And when they don't choose well, it just makes you want to strangle them. But that desire to want to strangle them when they don't choose well, that's flesh, and it has nothing to do with love. And what it'll do is the deceiver will use it to destroy your ministry. And it's just crazy. And God has shown me a lot of things on this topic in the last several days, but it just came to fruition this morning while I was traveling down this little river. Every knee shall bow. That means the guy that chops the head off the Christian in the Middle East, his knee shall bow. So no matter who he thinks he's serving now, even if he's serving the demonic, he's going to come to a realization in eternity. So God's working out, even in his life, is a finished work. So that means that I have to be careful of the way I even think about that guy. The guy that chopped the head off of a Christian in the Middle East. I know it's tough to get our brains around that, but if we can, I actually think it will really be a blessing in our ministry into the body of Christ. I have experienced times when I have been struggling with issues, trying to understand something in the Bible, and I've had people tell me that a certain thought or whatever I had was blasphemous, and they didn't mean to, but what they were doing is they were really concerned about my walk, and they were struggling, and then they start responding in the flesh to things they're concerned about with me, and this isn't about me. I'm just saying I've done the same thing to others in different ways. And what happens is it completely impairs what God would actually have them know about himself when we start turning our effort to intellectualize and explain the walk that God would inform us of by and through His Word, when we start trying to explain that to one another, and when there was disagreement, the deceiver would want to use the disagreement to create division. That's why we have so many different, denominations. The body of Christ is just splintered. And it starts ultimately, or can start, at a place where we're just getting caught up in where people are in their walks and what they think. And it doesn't mean that it's not important to think accurately. Of all people, I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying that the litmus test for what comes out of your mouth and for what your goal should be what best serves love. Do all that you do in love. Can you imagine the people that saw Paul before his conversion? When he was Saul, when he was killing Christians? I mean, when was Paul, the guy that wrote 3/4 of the New Testament, when was he saved? When did God start using him? When did his ministry start? Well, God wove Paul together in his mother's womb. He already knew what Paul was going to be about long before Paul started harassing Christians. So think about that the next time somebody posts something that makes you mad, or gets something wrong in your eyes vis-a-vis, something that's biblical or scriptural that is very important. Try to be encouraging and loving and gentle. And even when you have people in your life, family members or people that come to you for ministry, and they just seem like they're hopelessly trapped in sin and stupidity and poor choicing, well, I've been there, done that. Remember how the Father, how His grace and His patience, remember how that informed His interaction with you. And do all that you do, let everything that comes out of your mouth be done in love. It's all a finished work. Everybody's knee shall bow. All creations testifies to the glory of God. So relax and be loving and kind. Be well informed. Encourage. If you have a brother that you're leading with, you can rebuke. All of those things are fine. But just be very careful about pride of walk and about legalism and religiosity, because it can creep in, and the deceiver wants nothing more than to destroy your ministry. Period. 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 So anyhow, I had to get that off my chest to myself. Much love. Have a great day.